Hi everybody, it's Elaine Grundy from the Reiki Center, and in this video I'm going to talk about holding space, and it's in light of what's going on at the moment. We're coming into a massive week. It's now May the 9th, and next week we've just come out of the Visak full moon, and really starting to look at our truth and compassion and how we need to move forward. The next couple of months we're going to keep accelerating, so it's almost like just the way the planets are all lining up, the way the energy's all coming in, and for many of us we're starting to see kind of a lessening of the isolation. So we're at the point where we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's starting to unfold. Now, that unfolding is it's really important for us and our own personal growth, how we hold ourselves in the next couple of months. What I mean by that is that for all of us to really come into our own center and find what it is, like what is it that life is calling for from us at this moment. And it's going to be calling us in many different directions. So it's really important. There is no right way to do this. There's just the way that we're really meant to be aligning into our job. So everybody on this planet has a job, and everybody's job is different. So for some of you, you're going to feel like this urge to maybe be more outspoken. For some of us, we're feeling the urge, like on social media, you can see this. People are sharing certain things, they're getting onto certain hobby horses, there's certain opinions they feel really strongly about. And you may be watching this, I know I am, kind of watching it with some curiosity. There's a lot of passion, and there's a lot of people saying, this and that and the other. And for some people, this is the right way to go. And if it creates a feeling of impetus in your system, then this may be also the way that you go as well, that perhaps you are one of the speakers, you're one of the truth speakers, whereby you are speaking your truth and you're helping other people to come into their own truth as well. Now, there is another group of people that will be looking at this time as really a time for healing. So these will be the people that are really drawn to be holding healing sessions and helping people through really difficult times. You may notice that you have the urge to go out and be very active in the community. You may be one of the first responders. You may be people that are in the front line already. And for you, your job is really to kind of bring this help out into a more active form. Whether that's healing, whether that's working in distributing food, whether that's in medical, whatever that is for you, that is something that you are being called to do. But today, what I'd like to talk about is for those of you who are being called to hold space, because I've had a few questions about this now in terms of what do I mean by that. And that's kind of my calling at the moment. So what I've been feeling is that my job is to really help people hold space. And it can sound like a really strange job because I'm not going out and being particularly active. And for those of you who are feeling the same calling, that it's a funny time, right? Because you're kind of sitting there going, well, I'm not really doing much, but I'm in all these groups and I'm doing lots of meditation and I'm sending lots of Reiki, and but it doesn't feel particularly productive. And it's just to let you know that this evolution we're on at the moment, this massive transformation period that we're going to go through for the whole of 2020 is on all levels. So you have people that are very called on the physical level to get out there and do things, like physically do things. And then you're going to have people on the level that is more mental, and they're the people that are shouting about everything. You know, they're the ones that are kind of just the opinions coming out. And then you've got the energy workers. And for many of us, we're really busy, but we're not doing anything. So it's a difficult thing to get your head around, but do not underestimate your contribution when you are simply holding space. So a space holder, by my definition, is somebody, and it can also obviously be a group of people that are basically coming together with the sole purpose of holding a very high vibrational frequency. And that's it. That's the job. And the reason for the high frequency is in the hope that it will affect all of those who are doing the other things. The decision makers, the people that really are on the front lines, the people that are battling with immune system issues, with COVID or with other illnesses. It's helping the leaders of industry, it's helping. So essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to hold the vibration in such a state, in such a way that it allows for awareness to occur within other people. So one of the questions that I got from email was about holding space just for students. So let's say Reiki students, how do I hold space for them without becoming affected? It's when you're holding space, you are not affected because you're simply the container. So when the cup holds space for water, it's not affected by the water at all, because its only job is to contain the water, to make it functional so that you can drink it or that you can wash in it or whatever its purpose is. So for us, when we're holding space, our only purpose is to hold the vibration. That's all. We're not holding the vibration for an agenda. So we're not holding the vibration to make somebody do something or to make somebody have some kind of experience. We're not holding the space so that, for example, our students have some kind of experience or some kind of revelation that we're hoping that they will have. And that's the same as when you're holding space for clients as well, by the way. I mean, when you do healing for other people, and I'm sure you're very well aware of this by now, it's Reiki and the person that you're holding space for who are doing all the work. You're not doing any work, you're like the glass. So you're like the cup that is holding the Reiki and the client. And the same thing goes for your students, and the same thing goes for the planet at the moment. And I don't want to sound ridiculous. I mean, sometimes I hear people and they're kind of like, oh, we're here to save the planet. I don't look at it at all like I'm here to save the planet. I look at it like at the moment, my impulse, and that's all I can go on, my impulse at the moment is to create communities. And if I'm honest, that's always been my impulse for the last 10 years, is to do that. So I'm just doing what I was doing before COVID. And this is really what the calling is at the moment. Like, what is the impulse coming out of you? And it will probably be fairly aligned to what you were doing before, if you were in any kind of alignment. Now, for some of us, it may be a massive shift because we wake up and we suddenly realize it's like, oh my God, I wasn't following my priorities. I wasn't following my true passion. I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. And for those of you that are in those situations, you will notice that you're having all kinds of shifts happening. But for those of us who have kind of been, in a sense, preparing for this, you're not going to notice such a huge difference in what you're doing because you've been practicing for this. And for those of you who are drawn to hold space, even though it may not feel like you're doing a lot, trust me, you're doing a lot. Because essentially the container is extremely important at the moment. And if we are really holding the container in a very as high a vibration as we can hold it. And by high vibration, I just mean with a compassionate, loving, open energy. Openness is so important because that openness will help to bring in the next thing that needs to happen. Now, for some of you listening to this, you may be that next thing. For me, I don't feel like that so much. I'm not really drawn to that. But for some of us, you will be. You will be the ones at the leading edge who is kind of bringing in this new energy into a kind of manifestation. And so we all have different jobs. There is no one thing that we should all be doing. Well, apart from trying to be as open and loving and compassionate as we can to all of those around us. But that goes for life in general, right? But essentially, finding your place at the moment and really honoring your place is critically important. Like, make sure you're doing the right job. Make sure you're in the right role. And that role will just simply come naturally to you. Whatever is naturally coming out of you at the moment in terms of an easy expression or a passion, this is what you're meant to be doing. And you just hold on to that and you just stay steady and you just do your job. And I hope that's been helpful and helped to explain, at least from my perspective, what holding space really looks like. Thank you so much for watching.